Week 16 of the NFL season is here, and the Texans are sitting in a spot where many of us didn't think they'll be at. Not after the 0-3 start, not after dropping the game to Indy. The same week, the Patriots dropped a game to Miami. Like, we didn't think Pittsburgh was going to beat New England because that's something they haven't been able to do for a very long time. So many of us didn't expect the Texans to be in possession of the 2 seed with 2 weeks remaining on the season. Now, the Texans have been here before. They've been here before. Back in 2011 and back in 2012. In 2011, the Texans were sitting at 10-3 with 3 very easy games remaining. I believe it was the Panthers, which weren't very good that season, with the rookie Cam Newton, the Colts, who that year went 2-14, and the Titans. I mean, we know who the Titans are. They've been the same team for the past 10 years. Mediocre. The Texans were in a position to, if they win out, I believe even if they would have won 2 out of the last 3, they would have had a first round bye. But for sure, if they would have won all 3, they would have had home field advantage. What happened? They lost all 3 of them. Fast forward a year later, 2012, Matt Schaub was healthy again, and the Texans, going into mid-December, I guess you could say, they were sitting at 11-1, top of the NFL. Everybody had them on top of their power rankings. The Texans were amazing. The Texans were going to the Super Bowl. The Texans they pretty much had home field advantage wrapped up. They had a first round bye wrapped up. What happened? They went 1-3 in the last 4 games. That's what happened. They ended up losing to New England. They beat the Colts, lost to the Vikings, and then lost to the Colts. They've been here before, so it's very important that the Texans do not let this opportunity slip away from them, because honestly, we're lucky to be in this situation, because it's not every year that the Patriots lose 5 games. The Patriots usually lose 4 games at most. But here the Patriots are 9-5. The Texans are 10-4. All they gotta do is win out. They get that first round bye, and they get to play the Patriots in the divisional round in Houston this time, meaning they have a shot. And I say they have a shot because the Patriots this season, they're 6-0 at home. Away games, yikes. All 5 of their losses have been away. They've lost to Detroit, Miami, Tennessee, Jacksonville, 2 terrible teams, and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I put them at the decent range. Miami, they struggle with Miami every year, so that's kind of a given type of thing. But Detroit, Tennessee, and Jacksonville, 3 terrible teams, beat the Patriots at their house. So why can't the Texans, So it's very important that the Texans get this done. But the way the Texans have been playing these past 2 weeks, they're not going to get it done. They got to improve. So that's why today I got some things that the Texans can do better, improve on, so that they don't choke down the stretch like the 2011 team, like the 2012 team, and, into the playoffs too, because this applies in the playoff games too, because as of right now, man, the AFC's stacked. The Texans, they gotta keep improving. They gotta keep grinding, keep trying to get better, because this might be the most stacked AFC in a very long time. Usually there's 2 or 3 teams that are mediocre. I mean, look at last year: Buffalo, Tennessee, previous years, Brock Osweiler led Texans. Like, every year there's a few teams that don't really deserve to be in the playoffs. But this year, every single team that makes the playoffs in the AFC, they deserved it. They earned it. So the Texans are really going to have their hands full. So they have to get better. And I know a lot of people criticize O'Brien, say, it's 100% on O'Brien. But it's really not. But O'Brien can do better. O'Brien can do better to improve the team. So we'll start with the offense. We'll start with Bill O'Brien. What can Bill O'Brien do better to improve his team down the stretch? Number 1, take Ryan Griffin out. I mean, at this point, I think Ryan Griffin's a meme. Like, the guy is so bad. I mean, seriously, he can't do anything right. He can't get open. He's not that great of a catcher of the football. He can't run block. He can't pass block. I mean, he's been responsible for a few of Deshaun Watson's sacks this season. So, yeah, the guy, he's no good. Let the Jordan guy start. Jordan Thomas, Jordan Akins, I think they've earned their playing time over Ryan Griffin. If you look at the numbers, they're pretty darn close, all 3 of the tight ends. I think Jordan Thomas beats them all with touchdowns, but they're pretty damn close, meaning the tight ends, the rookies, they've earned their playing time. Take Ryan Griffin out. He's a liability, O'Brien. Number 2, help Deshaun Watson quicker. If you don't know what I mean by this, we saw it against the Jets. Deshaun was struggling all third quarter, most of the fourth quarter. He just couldn't get anything going. The blitz was getting to him. And O'Brien can help him. How? I mean, Pat D-Stat pointed this out. Whenever the Jets started blitzing him late in the game, when the Texans needed to drive down the field and score a touchdown, what Bill O'Brien did is he sent them out there in a spread formation. He spreaded them out, put Deshaun in the shotgun, put the receivers out wide, let Deshaun see the field, see the blitz, and of course, that kind of stops the blitz because when you have 5 receivers going out there for a pass, you can't really blitz or corner blitz because it puts you in a tough spot. So, O'Brien, what he needs to do, he needs to help him out quicker. If Deshaun starts struggling again against the blitz, go to the spread formation. Help your young quarterback. And, I completely get it. I understand why Bill O'Brien is doing it. It's kind of a sink or swim situation. Let Deshaun learn. That's what it is. When we needed the points, we really needed them to win the game, guess what? O'Brien went to a spread formation to go get the points. So down the stretch in the playoffs, if Deshaun starts struggling against it, you gotta go to that spread formation. And if you saw the Steelers and Patriots game, the Patriots started blitzing Big Ben. Big Ben got sacked 2 plays in a row. What happens next drive? They spread the offense out to spread their defense out. It works. It works, and shout out to Pat D-Stat for pointing this out. Okay, now the next thing O'Brien can do better. I'm pretty sure everyone can agree with this. Abandon the wide receiver screens. I mean, yeah, they work one time out of every 20 times, but yeah, just abandon them. Julian Davenport is not fast enough, not good enough to make the block. I mean, there's been multiple situations where if he makes the block, Demaryius Thomas ends up going a bunch of yards for a huge gain. But he's just not competent enough to get that block sealed. So, to me, that's pretty much like a waste of a play. So, just abandon it. And then the next thing. Start easing in Deontay Foreman. I think it's pretty obvious against the Jets. Alfred Blue is not a lead back. He's not a 3-down back. He's not a guy who can get the job done if, Lord forbid, Lamar Miller were to miss time. You need to start easing in Deontay Foreman. Because if he gets to come back to being the guy he once was, our run game is going to be dominant. It's going to be very dominant because people aren't going to want to tackle Foreman in the playoffs when they're all bruised up, hurt, little injuries from the season. So, start easing him in. You got 2 weeks left of the season. Start giving him some carries, a little bit of playing time. Get him ready for the playoffs. And the last thing O'Brien can do better. Don't go conservative, at all. I mean, unless you're up by 102 in the fourth quarter, don't go conservative, man, because there's some of these teams like the Chiefs, the Chargers, especially the Chargers. They can come back on you immediately. So, don't take your foot off the gas pedal. You got to step on the throat. You got to play to win. Just keep on scoring, keep on scoring, keep on scoring. Because against these upper echelon teams, you can't go conservative in the third quarter while you're only up 13, You just can't do that. Now, again, on the offense, still on offense, the offensive line, they need to man up and take over games. Last 2 weeks against the Jets and against the Colts, they got their butts kicked up front. In the run game especially. Pass pro, they have to keep on improving. They got to get better. Because yes, some sacks are on Deshaun, but they also can do better. But mostly, man up and take over some of these games, because without the run game, we've seen Deshaun start struggling a bit. And if Bill O'Brien's going to refuse to help him out, then they have to take over the game. It's up to them to get the offense going. Get some push up front. Create some holes for your running backs. Now, Deshaun Watson. I think a lot of the problems are on Watson. People want to blame O'Brien, but a lot of the problems are Watson. And to me, it's two things. Look, and I don't think Deshaun's a bad quarterback. I think Deshaun is a good quarterback. He's going to get better. I just think Deshaun's got to learn. This is the NFL. This is not college football. He can't keep playing hero ball. Look, I understand Deshaun is a magical player, but he's got to learn to throw the football away. And another thing, people say Deshaun Watson can't read a blitz. No, Deshaun Watson can definitely read a blitz, and we've seen it. We've seen it all season. The problem is Deshaun, he thinks he's magical. Well, he is magical, but he thinks he could do whatever he wants. He thinks he has the ability to do whatever he wants, pretty much. So he sees the blitz. He's like, yeah, I see it. I ain't gonna do anything about it, see, because I can beat it. I think that's what it is. I just think it's Deshaun being stubborn and not really taking what the defense gives him. If Deshaun starts taking what the defense gives him, we're gonna see a bunch of 50-yard gains like we saw DeAndre Carter take. A simple, what was that? I think an 8-yard pass went like 42 extra yards downfield, all because Deshaun Watson took the check down pass on a blitz. That's all you gotta do. Deshaun needs to stop thinking that he's this unbeatable guy, this guy who can do whatever, because this is the NFL. Yes, Deshaun is magical. Yes, he's gonna be a great quarterback, but he's gotta learn. These guys, they're smarter, faster, and stronger than they were in college. I feel like he's still trying to do all the stuff that he did in college. He's got to learn that's not going to work in the NFL. At least most of the time. Just take what the defense gives you. And now let's flip over to the defense. We can sit here and talk about how bad the secondary is all day, literally. I'd love that conversation because the secondary sucks. Or these corners in particular suck. But to me, this is 100% a coaching issue, man. This is on Romeo Crennel, 100%. I understand he's a legendary defensive coordinator, probably one of the best ever. Actually, probably the best ever, arguably. I understand that, but the guy is stubborn, man. He's got to take his head out of his you know what and put these players in position to succeed. Seriously. I mean, right off the bat, Aaron Colvin. Colvin is your best corner. You gotta start him. Shareece Wright, he's no good. He gets beat on double moves, and it's happened 3 times this season. The tape is out there on him. If you keep him out there, teams are gonna keep on exposing that. You gotta start Aaron Colvin because he's your best corner. Even on the outside, he performed better than Shareece Wright in 2 drives. I mean, seriously, what are the odds that the moment you bench Shareece Wright for Aaron Colvin, things start going right in the secondary, you know? I don't think that's just some coincidence. I think it's straight up. Colvin is a way better player than Shareece Wright, and it's not even close. The next thing, Kareem Jackson. Cornell has started playing him at corner. We already know. We've seen this for the past, 8 seasons? Around their 7. Kareem's not a corner. Kareem's a safety. A very good safety at that. Play Kareem Jackson where he'll perform well at safety. That's where he belongs. Don't put him at corner. Put him at safety. I mean, it's really not that hard. These next 3, they kind of intertwine together. They're kind of one and the same, I guess. So I'll just throw them out there together. You gotta move J.J. Watt inside permanently. You gotta move Merciless as your permanent edge rusher. And you gotta play Dylan Cole. I mean, seriously. This man had J.J. Watt as an edge rusher. Which, you know what? It's not that big of an issue. J.J. Watt can be an edge rusher. But you know what? J.J. Watt can also be an interior defensive lineman. He did it with Wade Phillips in 2011, 2012, 2013. He did it with Romeo Cornell in 2014. So, Watt, he can play inside. Play him inside. J.J. Watt is good anywhere you play him. Seriously. Merciless. Oh my god, dude. Cornell, he had Merciless dropping back into coverage. Seriously. Against the Colts, Andrew Luck took advantage of that, and even the terrible Sam Darnold took advantage of that. Every time you see Merciless in coverage, you throw that away because that guy's going to be wide open. Why? Because Merciless is not a cover player. He should never be in coverage. He should be rushing the passer every single play. He should be trying to keep contained every single play. Playing on the edge every single play. But guess what, Cornell? You know what linebackers can cover? Zach Cunningham and Dylan Cole. Especially Dylan Cole. Zach Cunningham already plays. And I noticed against the Jets, Dylan Cole was playing a little bit more. But Dylan Cole can cover. So you know what? Maybe instead of a pass rusher, a pure pass rusher, dropping back into coverage, maybe, I don't know, you put Dylan Cole to drop back into coverage instead. I think that's a great idea. I mean, this is dumb. And another thing I believe, for sure Covington dropped back into coverage once. And then I think it was Angelo Blackson dropped back into coverage another time. Oh my god, bro. Like, come on, dude. You're really gonna have these guys dropping back into coverage? That's some Madden stuff right there, Cornell, dude. Honestly, if Cornell doesn't get his head out of his behind, it might be time to move on for him, man, honestly, because this is outrageous. And the last thing Cornell's got to do better, don't go prevent defense at all. The Texans were up 16-3 against the Jets. I want to say middle of the second quarter. This man goes prevent, starts playing the safeties 40 yards back. Guess what happens? Yeah, you guessed it. The Jets easily came back. Because you know what? You can't go prevent with like 40 minutes left of the game. You just can't do that. Cornell is out of his damn mind. I don't know if it's old age. I don't know if he's just being stubborn. Or I don't know if that year off of defensive coordinating kind of threw him off a bit. I have no idea. But Cornell has got to do better because this defense, despite the lack of corners on the outside, they're better than they've been playing these past 2 weeks. They're way better. I mean, if you saw the Chiefs game versus the Chargers, you know what they did? Chris Jones just dominated that game from the inside. You know who's better than Chris Jones? J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt should be dominating games from the inside, while Merciless and Clowney come from the outside and, just collapse the pocket and get pressure, because you know what masks a bad secondary? A great pass rush. And the Texans have 3 great pass rushers, and one of them is dropping back into coverage. So, yeah, Cornell has got to do better. He's got to do way better. He can do way better, and hopefully he can, make the improvements, because I don't know if he will. I don't know if he'll stop being a stubborn coach, because this man straight up said, "Oh, I don't want to mess up the flow." That's why he didn't want to throw in Colvin, even though Colvin is way better than Sharice Wright. So, yeah, Cornell's got to do better. And I think if the Texans fall in the postseason, if the Texans fall down the stretch, I don't think it'll be because of O'Brien. I think it'll be because of Romeo Cornell, honestly. A lot of people were, giving Bill O'Brien, shit. But Cornell's been the problem, man. He's been the problem these past 2 weeks. He's got to do better. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and drop me a follow on Twitter if you're watching this long. Follow me at Mr. Mediocre _YT. And if you play Fortnite, be sure to use creator code Mr. Mediocre _YT. Anyways, appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.